able to speak as soon as he says his name is John. So there you go. It's funny. It's funny the way it happens. You gotta be there. Trust me. Watch the movie. One of my favorites. I also have one. So these, some a little bit more words that try to. What is wrong with my? There. Back up. Okay, so God used the greedy desires of King Augustus to get Mary and Joseph to Bethlehem to fulfill the prophecy of Micah 5, verse 2. Instead of being pawns of Augustus, it shows that God was actually in control. God is in the details. What else? God with us. Oh, some notes about the word God with us. Emmanuel. Hey, Guts in the Beautiful. How are you? Here for a lurk. Thank you for the lurk. So, God with us. Not only does it say God with us in Isaiah, it also says, I am with you to even the very end of the age in Matthew 28. There are other examples. What about those other examples? I should have wrote down those examples in my notes. Oh well, I'm sure I'm just going to have to tell you to look up the other examples of God being with us. O come, Emmanuel. Now I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to look up the verses to come Emmanuel.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also when 'tis
Tapping. Almost there. Okay, here we go. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lowly exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. There you go. Tip your waiters and waitresses. Artsy Bible Nerd is now live. Streaming art. Now streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Inking page 23 of Joseph, favored son of Israel. Thank you, Stream Elements. Now I know that I'm streaming live. As soon as Stream Elements says that I'm streaming live, I must be streaming live. So these notes that I've been taking, I'm going to start a habit of taking notes of every podcast that I listen to, and I'm going to combine them into one note and sort them out by verse and chapter. So I have all the notes that I've ever heard, all the information I've ever heard about Genesis, and sort that by verse and chapter, and then Exodus, Leviticus, you get the idea. So we'll see how big. Is this how a commentary gets made? Is this how you create a commentary? For the first 5 years of the Bible Project that I was listening to, they practically used, I'm not exaggerating, there's 5 whole years about Genesis. 5 years of Genesis. Once upon a time, they would veer off a little bit, but they would go straight back to Genesis. One time they talked about how the Bible was written, where it came from, and then they're like, okay, back with Genesis. Then during 2020, during the pandemic, they did some things about apocryphal writing. Not apocryphal, I mean apocalyptic literature. But then they went straight back to Genesis.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Done we now our
So along with the holidays means that my daughter will be coming home soon from her first semester of college. Our dorm is going to close at 6 p.m. on the 15th. So get out after 6 p.m. whether you have a ride or not. So we'll have to make sure that we get there on time.
Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la.
It's just a hand. No big deal. All you have to do is draw a hand, right? So speaking of my daughter, speaking of hands, so she believes that her pinky is bent towards the middle of her palm just because she uses her cell phone too much. And I tried to tell her that that's just the way pinkies are made. Everyone has that with their pinky. So she looks at my hand and she says that I'm using my cell phone too much. So I don't know what to tell her. I don't know how to convince her